Hey there, I'm Jessica, and this is Bookshelf to Big Screen. Today, I'm talking about the book, The Revised Fundamentals of Caregiving by Jonathan Evison, and the 2016 movie adaptation, which is shortened to The Fundamentals of Caring, starring Paul Rudd. Fair warning, I'm going to talk about specific details in the book and movie, so there may be spoilers. The book is told from Ben's perspective, so it's much more about his life than just the relationship between him and Trevor, which is what the movie really focuses on. The first half of the book gives us a lot of background on Ben, glimpses into his previous life with Janet and the kids, his best friend Forrest, his relationship with his father-in-law, and the lack of relationship with his own father. We also see Ben attempting to move forward by starting to date. We start seeing key differences in the movie right away. When Ben meets Elsa and Trevor, we find out they're from England and Elsa is a bank manager. Trevor has already started mapping roadside attractions sometime before Ben is even hired. In the book, they're from Western Washington and Elsa works with horses. It's actually Ben's idea for them to start working on the map, and it's one of the key ways in which he bonds with Trevor. In the book, Trevor's dad, Bob, comes to try and visit with Trev and sees the map and asks Ben about it. When Trev blows Bob off, he leaves and begins going to the roadside attractions and sending Trev postcards from each place with one-liners that appeal to Trev's sense of humor. While he pretends not to care, the postcards start to have an effect on Trev. He decides he wants to go to Salt Lake City to see Bob after finding out that Bob has had a car accident while driving to another roadside attraction. He was on his way to see the world's biggest watermelon, but Trev passes this idea off as Ben's idea to avoid hurting his mom's feelings. Elsa confronts Ben about getting too close and not following the caregiver's guidelines, and she subsequently fires him. He then comes back, proposes the plan for the trip to visit Bob, but as Trev's friend because he's no longer employed as his caregiver. In the movie, Trev tells Elsa that it's Ben's idea to do the road trip to see the mapped attractions, and she does confront Ben about it, but she doesn't fire him. Ben and Trev are well into their trip before Trev even tells Ben that he actually wants to go to Salt Lake City to see his dad.
I want to go and see my father.
What?
He owns a car dealership in Salt Lake City.
Your father's in America?
He's an American. They met in the UK, made me here, then we moved back when he ditched us. Been thinking about what you said, and I should hear him out.
I don't. Look, I mean, here's the thing. I don't know what I'm talking about. I have to talk to your mom.
No, definitely not. She's not gonna let me go, okay? She barely let me go on this.
Well, you should call him first.
No. If we're gonna do it, we just do it. I want to see the look on his face. This was your idea. Don't start pussying out now.
Okay.
Speaking of Trev's dad, let's talk a little about Bob. In the book, we get to know Bob a little better. He doesn't really have it all together, but he's really making an effort to connect with Trev. When Trev goes to visit him, they actually go to the world's biggest pit together. In the movie, Ben finds out that Trev's dad has been sending letters and he encourages him to reply, even though he doesn't. When they finally get to the car dealership to meet Bob, it's revealed that Elsa has actually been sending the letters and that Bob just sucks. Moving on to our road trip companions. In the book, Dot has a very punk rock look. She's described as having multicolored hair, multiple piercings, and clothing to suit the punk rock vibe. While she doesn't have a total punk rock aesthetic in the movie, she still tries to give off a tough girl vibe. In the book, they also pick up Peaches and Elton. Elton is kind of a loser. He's got an arrest record and some questionable invention ideas. When they go on Elton's detour to Missoula, both Ben and Elton get arrested for their part in a fight outside a bar. In the movie, we don't see Elton at all. Peaches tells the group that Elton is a soldier stationed in Afghanistan, which gives him quite a character upgrade. While they're on the road, a warning light on the van's dash comes up. In the book, this happens when Trev and Ben are still alone. Ben tells Trev it's just a dummy light, but Trev is really concerned about it, so they stop and have to wait until the place that can service the van opens up in a couple of days. It's while they're stopped here that Dot actually joins them. In the movie, Dot is already in the car when the light comes on. Trev wants to stop, but Dot says to ignore it, so Ben lets Trev look cool by being the one to insist on stopping to check it out.
Let's see what check just so you can check it over.
Trevor, it's fine.
Those lights don't mean shit. Just keep going. Trevor, tell him.
Keep going.
You know what, Trevor? I know you want to keep going, but maybe we should just pull off, find a place to stay tonight, and then I'll get it checked out in the morning. Look, I told his mom I'd keep him safe. I'm sorry. That's what we're gonna do.
In the book, the group go through Yosemite. This is where Peaches has her baby with the assistance of some paramedics who are on hand. The group then goes with her to the hospital and waits with her until her mother arrives. I think it's important to note here that in the book, Ben is jobless and broke at this point, and the money that Peach's mom offers him and gives him for his trouble in helping her daughter is really a lifeline for him. It's also in Yosemite that Ben is finally able to confront the driver who's been tailing them the whole trip, who turns out to be Dot's dad, Cash. From here, Dot rides with Cash, following Trevor and Ben to Salt Lake City. They all pull over just before entering the city to say their goodbyes, and Trev and Ben continue to Bob's alone. In the movie, the ragtag group of Ben, Trev, Dot, and Peaches are in it all together. They confront Bob together, and when that goes horribly wrong, they all regain hope together in the world's biggest pit. It's at the pit parking lot where Ben confronts Cash, and Peaches has her baby at the bottom of the pit, and Ben is the person who performs the delivery. Peaches is then taken away by the paramedics, and that's the last we see of her. Dot finally reconciles with Cash when she sees him in the parking lot, and this is where the group say their goodbyes. In both the movie and the book, Trev says if he could have anything, he'd just want to pee standing up. There's really nothing more about this in the book, but the movie takes that wish and runs with it. Throughout the road trip, Ben tries to help Trev pee standing up with very little success. It's not until the very end of the movie that Ben helps make this wish come true with the most spectacular standing piss in human history.
Whoa. You know what? We're gonna get going. Hey, go there, go there, go there. Do it.
Another thing that takes up a lot of real estate in the book is Ben's memories of his kids, Piper and Jody. The kids are young. Jody is a toddler and Piper is just a few years older. In the book, through Ben's memories of them, we get to know their personalities. I think that this, combined with their young age, makes the disaster so much worse. In the movie, Ben only has a son who seems to be a little older. We only catch quick vignettes of him, mostly at the very end. I did catch something that I thought was interesting. In the movie, the accident seems to take place at Christmas time. There's no actual mention of this. It's all just things that we see Ben remembering. But I thought this was definitely a strong detail, making that memory so much more painful. Finally, there's a few small differences that I noticed. They're not a huge deal, but they kind of stuck out to me. In the movie, Trev's Thursday ritual is going to the park. We have some fun scenes of this in the movie showcasing Trev's odd sense of humor. In the book, his Thursday ritual is going to the movies, and they hang out afterwards in the food court. This is mostly where Trev and Ben do a lot of their bonding. In the movie, Elsa tells Ben that Trev only eats waffles and sausages and that she's given up on getting him to eat anything else. In the book, Trev tells Ben that he hates the waffles, they're actually some kind of healthy waffles that Elsa makes him eat. This is a little bigger. Ben is a writer in the movie. He says he's written a couple of novels, which makes him somewhat of a success. In the book, his past jobs include poet, parade float painter, and bakery clerk, making him much less accomplished. I really enjoyed this movie, which I watched before even knowing it was based on a book. It was a really fun and touching story, but I'm really glad that I also read the book. The book, in my opinion, was more about these flawed humans who are fathers, and some are doing a better job of being dads, but they're all making mistakes in their own right. I have to say, I think Paul Rudd was perfect as Ben, and he gave us some wonderful moments in this movie, such as this fine gem.
Bite of the James? Hmm? Isn't that what they say in your country? Little bite of the James, shall we? Yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum. Little bite of James? Good. Have a bite of James.
There you have it, folks. That's my recap on some of the differences between the Revised Fundamentals of Caregiving by Jonathan Evison and the movie adaptation. Did I miss any important details? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching Bookshelf to Big Screen. Please click like and be sure to subscribe to see my next video. Let me know which book adaptations you'd like to see next.